Okay, everyone, okay, I made a point that I'm not going to curse. I'm going to try not to curse in videos because if you're a teacher, you're not allowed to be a human. And if anybody were to see me cursing, oh my gosh, but get the F pumped up. I just went off in the antique store and like, I got some really good stuff. And family members, do not worry. Oh great, my cat's gonna be co-starring in the video. Do not fret. I'm doing this thing that adults do called budgeting, and I allowed myself a certain amount, and this is gonna be like, I knew this is gonna be something I did this, for this 2 weeks. So I wanted to do like a legit antique haul and like not be like, cool, I'm shopping, but I wonder how I'm gonna pay for groceries this week. Like, it's all good. This is my fun money, and boy was it fun. So anyway, I'm gonna unwrap everything and show you what I got. I've also been reading up a lot. I've been watching a lot of like YouTubers that do antiquing. It seems like a lot of YouTubers who antique do it for resale, which is like not really my jam, but I do like to know how much something is worth because I don't want to pay like too much or too little. Well, I do want to pay too little, but I don't want to pay too much. What the heck? Sorry, my cat was like gearing up for something. It was just jumping over a box, but whatever. So I'm just gonna open stuff. I don't know what order it's in, but I got a lot of like weird stuff because I like weird stuff, and a lot of like stuff that I actually collect, stuff that I'm beginning to collect, etc. And I feel like a little bit more learned about what I'm getting now too, which is good. So the first thing I have, I think it's gonna be a Headvase. Yes. Okay, boom. So this Headvase I got, it says, "Hello, Grandma," and it's a little girl. It's a narco, so it's a narco, I should say. Napco. Oh my gosh. A narco. So it's got the label on the bottom, which I discussed in a previous video. Helps with resellability. This is just from the price sticker that was on it. And it comes as a set. And believe it or not, so I told you I've been like legit researching. I found this set in the Antiques Encyclopedia, and they were priced for nothing insane, but $30 each for the boy and the girl without the label. And I got these for $15 each with the label in perfect condition, which means I could probably sell them if I wanted to for $50 each. So boom. So Headvase number 1. It's a little baby. It says, "Hello, Grandma." That sounds creepy when I say it. But anyway. Next up, I'm going to try and like mix this up. That feels like a Headvase. This is like a Headvase, but actually it might be. Okay, this is, I had like a fleet of people like wrapping this stuff up for me. Almost cursed there. Almost cursed, but I didn't. Okay, so, yes, I started collecting miniature shoes. And that's because I got them like randomly at a decent price at a indoor flea market, and was like, okay, now I have 3, a collection has begun. And I started reading up on them, and this is called cobbled glass, I believe. Ooh, I can't remember what. But anyway, they're based off of Victorian shoes, and they're so collectible because, and you'll find a lot of them, because like back in the Victorian age, and I was kind of interested in these because I remember seeing a pair of my actual grandma's like tiny lace-up shoes from when she was young. And I was like, how in the F did anyone fit their foot in these? Well, it turns out that was like an actual thing where like women wore insanely, like at the expense of their feet, because what did women do that was convenient for them back in the day, or now, but especially back in the day, in the Victorian day. So they wore like these like these shoes that they could like barely walk in, like basically almost like corseting your foot. So like at the turn of the century, people started making these as like figurines. That's kind of like an ode to beveled glass, that's what I meant to say, as an ode to like shoes that Victorian women used to wear. So that's why they're so collectible. So I got that. It was not crazy expensive. I'm not that upset, so I spent a lot of money on that type of collection yet. Okay. Ooh. Da, 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 da. I'm really excited about this. Okay, so I am not a Disney collector per se. However, I like vintage Disney. And there was this really cool vintage Disney booth with these figurines. I got one more. This is a piggy bank. I mean, you could tell it's vintage by, I mean, obviously by like the design of, well, I guess the design of Mickey could be reproduced, but like by the wear of it. Now, one thing I learned through like all my research is if you're looking to see if something is vintage, you look on the bottom to see if it's made in like Japan or Taiwan, because most of the things that have been made like within the past 15 to 20 years have been made in China. Even if like even if they're made abroad, everybody's sending their stuff to be made in China. So if something is made in like specifically like Japan or Taiwan, then most likely it is vintage. So fun fact through my research from Ann Eckhart's YouTube channel. So that's a Mickey. I just think he's like so cool. I'll probably have him like standing down by like, probably have him standing on the ground somewhere, like by a hallway, because he's kind of tall. But anyway, I think he's cool. On the note of Mickey, I got, now this, okay, this was like a Sophie's choice. I think this guy is badass. Just cool and like a little more rare. Boom! Daffy Duck. How effing cool is that? I'm thinking this has to be from like the 60s. Doesn't have anything on it. And this I learned, okay, so I'm trying to learn a lot more about antiquing. This guy's hollow, obviously, because he is a, well, use your words, Kelly, a piggy bank. This guy is something called chalk paint porcelain, and you can see how like he looks different, and I guess it was like chalk paint porcelain, so it's made out of porcelain, but it's chalk paint. It's just kind of a vintage way of decorating. Now obviously he's like not in mint condition, which is why I got him at a reasonable price, but I like, of course, do it because I think it's gonna look cool in my house. Oh, and that brings me to something. Before I open more things, if you're imagining like, and I'm sure you could see like behind me, I have a painting of an alien on a disc album, and then I have like two like older ladies like gossiping that I got in an antique store. This I got at a new art show. This I got at an antique store. I do not exclusively have like antiques. However, like the aesthetic that I'm going for in my house, which I painted this room blue, kind of thinking that I was kind of thinking of like old porcelain, and I was at the time thinking I wanted to do like French country painting, but like none of my stuff really goes with that. And I was also aesthetically trying to like meet again, at the time that my brother had not yet passed, but my mom and grandma had both passed, and I was like inheriting a lot of stuff, so I was kind of like trying to like do paint colors, because that room's like a baby pink, like that went with what I had and I was getting, as opposed to like what was like really my style. I mean, the pink's kind of my style. So like the couch that I had kind of matched blue. Like, but ultimately, like this magazine probably like best reflects my style. It's called Flea Market Decor. So it's like not exclusively, it incorporates a lot of flea market stuff. Like this person's style I like a lot. But like the furniture is more modern, and like the upholstery is more modern. So, but then there's like a lot of, let me see if I could find another bookmark page. It's like, I think this room does, like, I don't like love the paint color, but it does a good job of incorporating like a bunch of collectibles, old school stuff, and then having more modern elements. So like ultimately, obviously I'm young, but I want to have a mix of, this is straight up, like I do have some areas that are like just straight up old school and like fun and cheerful, which I think is really neat. So ultimately I want to have that kind of aesthetic. Of course, it's not going to be like overnight because I'm not like a Real Housewife of Indianapolis or Danville or whatever. And I have to like, you know, this pay period, I'm going to paint a room. You know, like I don't have the type of money to just overhaul and get the aesthetic I want with like furniture, etc. I kind of have to like work with what I have. So someday I'll do like a home tour when I feel like it's all come together. But now it's more like, what are little things I can get that, or, you know, for pieces of furniture one by one that could slowly evolve me to the style that I want to be at. Make sense? Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to keep it moving. Oh, I do want to say, sorry for the tangents, another big like reference, which was in the magazine, I'm not going to point it out, that I draw from, two big references I did not talk about like in my previous vintage antique enthusiasm explanation video, was one, growing up, like my first, like, and probably my only real boyfriend, because it was like 7 years, in college, his family had like a legit, pretty much antique store, but like they lived in like an old, it was really, really cool. It's one pleasant takeaway I can get from that interaction, from that relationship, was that his grandparents lived in like an old, like school for, people with disabilities. But anyway, it had like this big ass pool, there I cussed, and there was a big farmhouse, and then there was like an old house like built in the 19th century, and they were insane collectors, and like had really, really, really cool stuff. And every month we would help them, more than once a month, we would help them at this like gigantic flea market in Evansville, Indiana, and they had, I mean, they knew their stuff. Like they are my goals, where they could like point to something and be like, this is made out of this fabric, it's, you know, worth X amount, it was made in this country, this is why it's important, like walking like little libraries. And I just think that is so cool, because I mean, ultimately it boils down to art, consumerism, and history, and like how they all kind of like fit together and how they influence today. So that's why I get really into like collecting. Reason number one. Reason number two, or additional reasons, my best friend Jessica, or one of my best friends I should say, her parents were like, are brilliant, okay? Like one was the head of, well, he was like a neuroscientist, but he was like a college professor. The mom was a like legit high up there lawyer, and they were rich, but they had really unique style. Mom was an artist as well, and like they had literally like one room that was exclusively busts of George Washington. They had another room that they called the yellow room. It was painted yellow, and then it was all like porcelain yellow birds, like of all kinds. But then they had it like mixed in really new appliances. Like it was cool AF. And like that's the kind of like the style that I aspire to eventually have. I'm not there yet, but that's what I would like. I want like, last like name drop, my cousin like helps to run the Kennedy Awards, and she's like a big time player in Washington DC. I don't even know what you call her job, but anyway, she had a room that was like at her house is really cool, that it was like all black and white photography, literally like just black and white photography. Every single wall was covered in the ceiling with like some dope like red furniture. I mean, just going to the house was an experience. That's why I think antiquing is cool. Mix them with other stuff, mix them with other types of art, but that's kind of like what I aspire to be in like when I'm retired. So anyway, let's keep going. This is, I think I know what it is. So this is a miniature head vase. which is cool. I found out that head bases come like in 4 main sizes, this being the smallest head base. I saw a really cool picture of like, it was a head vase holding a head vase, which I thought was badass. But anyway, this is a cool white head vase, gold jewelry, perfect condition. You could tell it's older because it has like this little gold lining on the bottom. No name, price was good. Throw her in the mix. That was a really big close-up. Then I have, oh, I saw this the last time I was there, and that's why I swore I was going to go with like a specific budget, because I had to have it. More Disney, and I just think it's badass. That's not necessarily part of like any collection that I have. It's a Pinocchio. How freaking cool is it? And it's like operational. I thought I broke it for a second. But you can move it around, move the arms, and it's just so neat, and it's in perfect condition. There's like no chips. Not that I like intend to sell it, but I just think this is like adds such a fun flair / a little bit creepy, which is like my jam. So here's Pinocchio. He's wooden. Boop. Good price. Okay, we're gonna still keep going. These are like the grand finale guys. Plus one like oddity that I do just because I'm a little bit of an a-hole. And I like to mess with people. Which that might be a good thing. Oh, this is the other little, hello, Grandma. With them on the old school phones. So it's a partner set that like, with the, oh, this one has the perfect labeling as well. So this is the boy. I don't really believe in the construct of gender, but you know, it is what it is. This is from the 50s. So they have little, look how cute that is. Like their bibs, they have the little ties on the back. And they're a matching set, and I got them for $15 each, and I could probably sell them because they're like in mint condition, and they have, the labels have not worn off, or the Anarco stamp has not worn off. I could probably sell them for $100 together. Your girl is starting to know what she's talking about, because they're a little bit more rare. I did find out that my one head vase from the other collection that I said everybody has, everybody legitimately does have it, and it's not valued that high. Unless there's like one particular style. I'll show you when I'm done, what I'm referencing. In fact, like when I was YouTubing head bases, this girl who was like just getting into it and was like, look what I discovered. I'm being such a hater. Had like literally the same head base, and she paid way too much for it. But she also collected cosmetic cases and like old makeup, and I was like, ooh, that's a cool like rabbit hole I could go down. So I don't know anything about that. Here's another one. This was my most expensive. Was it? No, it wasn't. But this one's really pretty. It's not my most expensive because it does not have the markings. But I have not seen her face before, which means that she's not like a generic girl. She's got a hat. She's got a ribbon, like a bonnet, which is kind of unusual. The colors are really good. Like there's no fading. She's got flower details. I've noticed like all the details that kind of add to the cost. And she's got little curls. So that's a cool head base. But you can see that like the Anarco stamp is like worn off. However, again, I've noticed like there was like something without a stamp that was $600. So like it's not as much about, it's not as heavily reliant on the marking of who made it to determine value. I think there are other ways to determine value, probably mostly the individuality of the piece. And, you know, like you can, if you've seen any Antiques Roadshow, like when appraisers look at something, they look for more than just like they like to see the label, but then they could tell by the way something's made that it was by a specific artist, and they have like all these different references like filed away that they can play upon, which again, goals. I would love to be able to do that. More. Where are my little guys? Okay, here's another little random. It looks like I actually like kind of made a killing because I feel like I went in like a little bit more educated. I spent money on the stuff that I knew was worth money. And then the stuff that, like, I knew wasn't really worth money, I didn't get unless it was, like, really reasonably priced. Here's another little shoe. I just thought this one was, like, a little bit unusual. It's glass and brown. And there's a little bird on it. Which, isn't that cool? I don't know if you could see it. That's a bird. And shells and flowers. So it's just unique. And, again, I'm going to read up more on, like, these little old boots, because they kind of, like, range in value a lot, and I don't really know why, and I would like to know why. Another thing that I don't know about is, like, fiesta ware and, like, different glassware and, like, beveled glasses. Like, I've noticed that that's, like, something that a lot of people buy, like, especially, like, resellers, and, like, they, like, just off the top of their head, because they know their stuff, are like, yep, getting that. That's priced at half what it's worth. Like, I would love, that's a game that I don't know anything about, and it's, like, huge in the antique world. So I need to, like, read up on that stuff so I can, like, when I have my imaginary conversations with other antiquers, which will happen someday, I best believe, I won't feel like an idiot when that comes up. That's my plan. And by the way, like, I, like, specifically went to booths that I knew I wanted because I had a budget in mind. Granted, it was a bigger budget than last time, but had I, like, not gone to, like, the Headvase area, the, like, cool, like, vintage Disney area, and, like, had I not had my blinders on or tried to, I would, I am such a fan of, like, all, pretty much, not all antiques, but I could spend a lot of money. And if it's available to me, I have not the world's best self-control. So I had, like, my little horse blinders on, like, get me to your Headvases, get me to the area where I know I saw something last week, or, like, last month, and get me the F out. Like, they were like, oh, I could, because I asked, like, what happened to the big porcelain, like, doll collection, or porcelain, like, lady figurine collection that was badass last time that I did not have enough money for? And he was like, oh, I don't know about that one, but there's this huge booth over here. And I was like, nope, nope. Take me away. Take me to the register. I'm out. Because I will, like, I need to get a haircut next week. I have bills coming up. And I will be a little hermit eating what's in her fridge for the next week if I venture any farther. Because it's like Candyland for me. Okay, this one is not a Headvase. This is just like an example of something that I thought was like a little bit weird and a little bit cool. It's a nun. It's a nun bust that's not a Headvase. But it kind of, I thought, like, I approached it because I thought it was a Headvase, and nun Headvases are expensive. Or, like, go for a lot. Oh, so it's made in West Germany in 1978, so she's a pristine little collector. So I still think I, like, got her for a steal. I know that people, like, collect nuns. And I also kind of was like, there's so much, like, church drama going on that I was like, ooh, like, let me get a nun. I don't know. Like, my brain is just weird. Like, I just want somebody to walk in my house and be like, why the F do you have a nun? Like, you're an Episcopalian. Although Episcopalians, there are nuns in the Episcopal Church. But, okay, we won't go down that path. It's different. A little more liberal. Okay. Oh, this is the weird guy that I got just to be a dick. Because I told you that I'm creepy and I like collect creepy things. Yes, I do have a clown collection. I have not unearthed it from all my childhood stuff. But, like, especially after having seen it again. And she's a music box. Holding cats. Why? I literally just want to mess with people sometimes. And have them be like, what? I remember my sister used to hate sleeping in the same room with me. Because I had, like, dolls lining the walls. And she thought they were all staring at her. And I was like, too bad. I like to be like, obstinate and be like contrarian. Be like, oh, you hate that? Like, it's so weird, and it's a bit masochistic. But anyway, yes, I did buy a clown carrying cat music box. And I think the last one is like the gold star of the haul, where I was pumped. The music box is still going eerily. Plus, I'm aware every time I turn around, like, my double chin is going. And I don't care how thin I am, I always have a double chin. I'm not thin right now, but I always have a double chin, and it is so irritating. This is my heavy spender one, which is still not a lot. It was $35. But look at this badass bee. This bad bitch. I'm going to cuss for her. She has, like, a... Oh, my gosh. What do you call that? Not a cape. But she has, like, a... Whatever. She has this, which I have not seen very many of. She has a cool, like, flower detail on her head. She has green eyes with, like, green eyeshadow, which is a little unusual. Intact necklace, which I've noticed, like, the more intact accessories, the more expensive they are. Gold drop earrings, and she's got, like, some highlights going on, or lowlights. Like, work. That goes through the back, and she's got a little stand. They don't all have little stands. So I just thought she was pretty, and I've not seen anyone like her. So, and I have looked. So I'm trying to, like, not be a fool, like, Boo-Boo the Fool who's, like, getting something, thinking she's special, and then, like, everybody has it. So that's kind of, like, my headspace. Because, literally, if you look in these books, there are, no joke, Headvases that are $1,000. And would I love to have a $1,000 Headvase? F yeah, I would. Do I have $1,000 to spend on a Headvase? No, I do not. I could make it work, and then I would not be showing up anywhere, and I would be, like, eating crumbs for 2 weeks. Yeah, like, so this guy, I saw something similar and at the antique store, and she was like $125, but this one's $750. Like, what? With no mark. With no mark. So if she had a mark, she'd be worth even more. This is not a drill. These things are expensive. Okay. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. I will not be doing probably another one of these until we'll see what I want to have my splurge thing be for next pay period. But I will not be doing another one of these for 2 weeks. I'm not hauling S except myself to a walk at the park where it's free to walk. Anyway, thanks so much. Oh, also, like, if you're new to YouTube, so I can stop posting obnoxious amounts of updates on Facebook, please, well, for a variety of reasons, please like and please subscribe, and hit the little, like, bell on the subscribe thing, and then that way YouTube will notify you when I have new videos. That, and then if you could also, so if I get to 100 subscribers, then I can have, I can, like, name my own URL. And there's, like, different things. Like, when you get to X amount of subscribers, then you can, like, use AdSense and make, like, a little money or whatever. Also, like, if you comment, then that's also good for, basically, my searchability. Oh my gosh, I need to stop with the air quotes. So anyway, if you could please like, subscribe, hit the bell, and comment what you like to collect, or if you have any collections, or what you're a geek for, I would very much appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.